The following portion of Fox 43 AM Live is sponsored by Electrical Specialists.
And joining us now is Brandon Hogan with Electrical Specialists. Good morning. We're continuing our kind of talk about the process of what it looks like when you hire a contractor to redo wiring in your house. And at this point, we've just done the rough-in from last week. Our walls are down. What's next?
Well, you set me up too easy for it. First, I'm going to say it's going to be a tough act to follow, having the Beetle like that. I took my nephew to see Madam Web last night, so I was hoping it was a little spider.
No, yeah, that would have been nice.
It was close. But anyway, yes, good lead-in, Dane. I appreciate that. So obviously this is for people that are kind of doing their own general contracting work to save some money, building their own house, hiring an electrician, so they don't have much experience at it. So we're at the phase of, like you said, everything's just been roughed in. So we're at the trim out phase. So of course you hear trim out, what does that mean? Of course you think of trim. Well, that's a good way to think about it, because trim is kind of the last thing you put up after you painted the walls, right? The finishing touches. So yeah, this is exactly it. So we're coming in to put in the devices, the switches, the fans, the plugs, hot tub connections, turn all the power on, finish the panel, all the final touches. So it's kind of an exciting part. I mean,
yes,
it's one of my favorite parts for sure. I actually kind of prelude this to after the rough-in phase, I go to the client and I say, you won't see us till the paint's dry. They're always in a hurry to get us back in there because they want that trim-out phase to happen, because that's the pretty phase, right? Well, if we go in too soon and the paint hasn't dried, at least 48 hours after they put it on, if we go in a hurry and put the cover plates on, if for any reason you go to take a cover plate off, it rips the paint off. Oh. So we got to be patient.
Okay.
We got to wait a little bit to go in and do that. But something you may see, and this may not mean much to some people, but people notice, you may see a different crew. You've got one crew that comes in typically and does the rough-in, drills the holes, pull the wire, like we talked about earlier. And then you might see them disappear and another crew come in to do the small stuff, the finishing touches. You know, as leaders, we try to put our guys in the best place to succeed, and one guy might be good at one thing and one might be good at the other. Our guys like to think of trim out as the gravy work, the easy stuff. But believe it or not, putting even as simple as a plug in the right depth, I'm sure you've seen in everybody's house, there's that one plug that's sunken into the wall, the plate's crooked, and you want to mess with it, but you don't. So there's little bitty things, programming remotes for fans, stuff like that that you kind of overlook under cabinet lights. You got to kind of lay on your back and get underneath there. Another crew might come in who's better at the fine details for stuff like that. Let's see.
Yeah, it's so difficult when you're looking at you kind of come to the finale of your house, and all of a sudden it's like, wait a minute, give me the strength of somebody, give me the finesse, a 5-star service here.
Well, this is where I am going to ask you to use a little bit of imagination. As a writer, I know you've got one of those.
Yes.
So let's say it's been about roughly a year. Now, this is probably your biggest investment in a personal property, so there's lots of emotion tied to these things. So there's been a year. At first, there's a dirt pile, right?
Yes.
You've paid a lot of money for a pile of dirt, all right? And then they flatten that out and put some concrete down. There's a little bit of wood structure, slowly coming together. You got to think this is 6 months, 8 months. Finally, they close it in. They put some sheetrock up. Now it's just flat white rooms, okay? Now, I try to keep, during the trim out phase, I try to keep them out for like the week of the trim out so they don't come in halfway through. All right, and then we actually come into, I think I gave you a picture here to put up here.
Okay, yes, I believe we do have a picture here. Yeah, pull that, look at that beautiful. That's what I want to see in the end.
There's so many things here to go through. It's, you know, the giant chandeliers in the middle there. You've got the pendants over the island. You got pendants over the table. All these things have fine touches on them. Everything's so important, but I mean, just to go from, think of a wood, just walls with wood, no sheetrock, to this. It's a huge transition. It's the best part of the process. Go ahead and hit the next one.
Yeah, let's go to the next one. I think we have a pop-up.
Yes, a pop-up plug. Ooh, yeah, things that you wouldn't normally think about till the final phase. I think there's one more, which is my favorite. Go to the next one here.
Look at that. That's
Landscape lighting and deck lights.
This is
absolutely my favorite thing to do because you get to use some artistry, and you get to, you know, I hang out outside a lot, so this is one of my favorite things to do. But nothing to be said except for this is just our favorite part of the process. The hammer and the nails are done. We get to actually have some good times with our client and see the hard work, the year that's been put into it finally come out into something amazing and beautiful. Instead of using your imagination, you get to actually live in it now. So it's our favorite part, but that's something good to share. And we only have one more of these left to final it out.
Yes, I'm excited.
But anyway, that's the most good-looking part. We're the happiest to do that, and it makes everybody feel good. So
wonderful.
Hopefully, we'll do that again soon.
I hope so. Well, Brandon, hey, thank you so much for showing us kind of the work behind the work behind the work.
Sure.
Really, it looks amazing. I love that you guys utilize strengths to get the job done and pristine. With projects like that, yeah, make the house, bringing the value up. Makes a great, happy customer right there.
Thanks, Dan.
All right, Brandon, thank you so much again for joining us, everybody. And of course, if you want to learn more about Electrical Specialists, you can visit electricalspecialist.pro.
The preceding portion of Fox 43 AM Live was sponsored by Electrical Specialists.